is an emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest, the best weekly Stardom podcast anywhere in the world. I am, as always, Alex, and I am joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, everybody. Our boy won the Triple Crown. That was cool.
Oh yeah,
Shouts out Katsu. I also found out that the Akira Hokuto's son that is married to Rin is the fan of the same football team as I am, which is the Bears. So I now know
Poor
that
guy.
he lives in the same amount of pain as I do every single week when it comes to basketball, to football. So yeah,
Basketball ain't much better. The Bulls have been bad for like
We don't
20
talk
years
about that,
now.
man. We don't talk about that.
That's
No,
really,
we had that
really
that
sad.
minute where we had like Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler and Noah, and that was the last time I
Yeah,
felt something about basketball.
that is fair.
'Cause since then, it's just been pain.
Yeah.
I'm winning in fantasy though, in our fantasy league. I'm 2-0.
Oh yeah. I have been so unlucky in that because I
You
had
have.
like the second or third highest score both weeks and still lost the games. I
mean,
would
I
have
might.
beaten everybody bar the person I played. It was terrible.
No, this week you got the lowest. This week was rough for you.
You sure?
Mhm.
Last I checked, I had like 300 more than most people, but I don't know. I didn't go back and look.
I
Either
don't know
way,
either. I'll last note is that Anthony Davis might be injured, and I might just lose forever now
that's
because
fair. Yeah,
he's been carrying.
that's why I don't pick some of those dudes. Though that's why like you gotta pick your poison there. Because somebody picked Zion, and I was like, good luck with Zion, brother. That guy's gonna play 30 games, so have fun. But yeah, that's basketball. We are here for Stardom, but before that, a plug. Head on over to the 5starnetwork.co for all of the great articles on podcasts from the wonderful world of pro wrestling. There's an Actress Girls thing starting from Sandre. So we're expanding the coverage of Joshi to Actress Girls, which is a pretty cool promotion since it kind of, I would say, rebranded.
I
Essentially
love
died
those
and came
performers.
back. Died and came back, and now has Fuka at the helm. Fuka obviously trained the original class of people in Stardom. You can see her influence still in the Stardom product because there's a lot of stuff she does in Actress Girls that you're like, oh, that was her idea. Okay. Um, so yeah, if you're a Stardom fan, I think Actress might interest you. So that's a good show to kind of get in on the ground with Actress Girls. So yeah, check that out on the 5-Star Network's various pages. I don't know where it's going, to be honest. I haven't looked into it.
It'll be up there.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. As we said kind of last week, Dylan and I were on the 5-Star Joshi podcast. It's an unrelated thing. It's Scott's show on the Fight Game Media Patreon. We did a Joshi draft along with Xavier and Scott. So if you want to listen to that, it was a good fun. People have been loving it. I saw one tweet that was like, I've listened for 2 minutes and I'm already on the floor. And I was like, yeah, we were. It was a wild time. So yeah, go ahead and listen to me picking the greatest roster ever assembled. So yeah, I think that's everything.
And listen to hear me pick Kurumi Hiragi.
Yeah, it was great because Scott was doing like a halfway point, recap, and he laughed when he got to your pick.
Because I like Kurumi. Kurumi's cool. I also told everybody I was picking Kurumi like top 4, and then I picked her 5th, and I was like, I think that's fair.
Yeah, but you picked her ahead of some interesting names. I think what was funny is
Namely, Tam Nakano.
somebody. Yeah, but I think Hazuki got picked after her, and you were like, "Damn it!" And it was like, "Well, you could have picked Hazuki instead of Kurumi."
Yeah.
But yeah, that was your new pick to get bullied for, and yeah, we had a fun time.
I
Anyway,
also briefly, I also watched that Sendai show, and I immediately regretted not picking you. Um,
yeah,
I was just like, man, she's so cool. She's so good.
she's a beast. I regret missing out on Aroha now because she had some dog on that
Yeah.
Sendai show, and I was like, "Damn, I haven't seen this from her in a while. Let's go!" But yeah, that was a fun time. You're all here for Stardom. It's been an interesting week in the world of Stardom. The
I
first
feel
place to
like
go,
I feel like we should start like a segment called Injury Report, where we just
hmm,
talk about like how people's injuries are going.
yeah,
Um,
maybe. I don't know how much we would know because they're always like, "Hey, they're hurt," and then
well,
they're just like, "Hey, they're back."
like for example, I mean, Starlight Kid is back in the dojo
Yes,
today.
she's on a show.
She's on a show in 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
her first day of training back is today. Um, Utami is still silent. Tam still might be dead. We haven't heard from her. We'll talk about Tam, in fact. Uh, Other people are still injured. I don't know. I just feel like we really should like take time on these motherfuckers because they are out. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
that would require a lot of extra work. So I'm not about that life. But yeah, as you kind of mentioned, Tam Nakano, it was announced just yesterday, it seems like, that she is off the November 18th pay-per-view, which is Stardom Gold Rush, where she was meant to defend her championship against Suzu Suzuki. Uh, the new match is Suzu versus Starlight Kid versus Azumi. That will be Starlight Kid's return match. It's a special match. Just kind of throwing it out there to replace Tam. And they don't know when Tam's back. They don't know. They didn't say when the world title match
well,
is going to be. They didn't say like
Sonny
what
alluded
the.
to something.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
Sonny
I was
alluded
gonna
to
on the English Twitter. They
yeah
were
on the
like, "What's
English.
gonna happen with the World of Stardom title?" And I was like, "Well, you should tell us."
No, but
But
he
I
did. So
really,
what happened was he responded to somebody. I think it was on Scott's tweet. Uh, Somebody was like, "Oh, well, they only have 2 shows to end the year, so it's like, are they just gonna do it at the year end?" And then Sonny said, "There's one more show that you're forgetting, and it's in Tam's hometown." So that early December show is definitely where they're hoping Tam will be back
yes, yeah, that's kind
in
of
the
where
Gold Rush.
I was looking at the Dolphins Arena with
Yep.
the sponsored tournament thing. Um, so yeah, I don't like. I said this last week. I mean, I saw this last week when they didn't cut any promos for it. They'd stopped advertising it. We did a whole segment where I was like, "Dude, Tam is not that match is not happening." And then yeah, Monday or yeah, the following Monday, they're like, yeah, it's off. Um,
It's actually funny because I was talking to Xavi actually about it. Xavi and Scott, but mostly Xavi, about like I think Tam is either like retiring or like they expect her to be back like in the next few weeks because they wouldn't. It feels like the way that they're doing it with a leg injury, you know, usually, right?
mhm.
If she tore her ACL, she's not coming back. You know what I mean? Like, but if it's like an ankle injury or a knee injury, which I believe they confirmed it was a knee injury, um, with a knee injury, either you know or you don't. Either it's like it's long term and you're going to be out, or your knee's just kind of fucked up right now and you'll be fine if you just rest it. You know what I mean? And it sounds like the latter is the case for her, because if they haven't vacated the belt, they assume she'll be back within the next month. I would imagine, month and a half at least. So yeah, that's just a thought that I had. In fact, I had that like 10 minutes before they announced that she was out for this show. Like it was very serendipitous. But yeah, that's just a
Yeah,
thought on Tam.
like the general sense is that they don't know. Like they seem to be taking it day by day.
Which to
Considering,
me, like I said, means that it's more likely than not minor. It's just she can't work on it. You know what I mean?
well, I don't know. I mean, they thought she'd be fine for this, so clearly they have no idea. So
But
I
but
don't know.
point being is that it's like if it was major, they would know.
Well, I don't know.
By
It's a
now,
it's a knee.
it's been like 3 weeks. They would have taken
Yeah.
an X-ray, they would have figured it out and been like, "Oh, this is like a severe injury that she cannot come back in the next 2 weeks from." Instead, it sounds like it is just like a lingering problem that hopefully will get better, they assume will get better. It's not something like, you know, like I said, it doesn't have that timetable. So it being indefinite kind of gives me a little bit more hope that she'll be back promptly. Compared to, like I said, if she tore her meniscus, it's like she's out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not sure they have a full understanding either because they're just being so mysterious about it. There's no, oh, she might be back on these shows. There's no, this is the timeline. It's just, yeah, she's like gone for this, and then that's it. And we're gonna do the match when we do the match, and it's like, okay, cool. It's really the worst possible time for them because, like, they need to start ramping up for Sumo Hall. We are 6, 7 weeks away from a Sumo Hall show to end the year. They need to start ramping up the big matches. And now you can't do that because your world champion doesn't have a knee, and you don't like you don't know what her status is. So I think it's pretty shit for them that she's out because it's like now everybody has to sit around and just wait. Like everybody's just sat in limbo again, and that's been a big problem with Stardom this year is people just sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting for stuff to happen, and now it's gone into your world title scene because your champion is injured. It's really the worst possible time for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, we're in rough shape right now
Yeah,
as Stardom. Um,
as I say, if it was me, I would have done a different match. Like I think it's very easy to just do a different match and have Tam challenge when she's back. You know, I know AEW gets some flack for when they do this, but it works. I mean, you get an interim champion, the interim champion faces the real champion, and it's a big match, and
I
it's
like
easy.
interim champions in wrestling. I think people give it
Yeah,
a bad rep because AEW did it kind of poorly.
yeah.
One of the
Well,
times, the other times I thought were
yeah.
kind of cool, but
Oh yeah, the
besides the
Punk
point,
ones were like perfectly valid,
yeah,
and the Thunder Rosa one was valid, but her injury ended up kind of being too long term.
which I
Um,
get, but
yeah.
I mean, like it's I don't know. I do think that it's a case of like that would be fine, and I also think that we kind of look at it. Micah's on the pre-show of this Gold Rush show, right?
Hmm.
Like this is getting in the way of other things. It feels like because it
Yeah,
feels like
because
Micah's
Suzu
story has
is
been
meant to
going
do a
on for
thing.
fucking
Yeah,
17 years at this point, and it's just like we'll get to it later. I don't know. Like it's just everything's kind of getting in the way of everything. Obviously, injuries are going to do that, but it's just kind of I don't know. I feel like you gotta play it by ear at this point, which I know, like I said, people get kind of flack for as wrestling companies for playing things by ear, but I just think that'd probably be smarter of them because I don't know what they can really do right now.
yeah. What I do know now is they really, really want to do this Tam Saya match. There has to be something going down after that match for them to be this adamant to do it. Um, so I don't know. Very interested to see how things go. I think they're going to give themselves as much time as possible, and if Tam isn't able to go for that early December Nagoya show, I think they will vacate. And they'll probably do, you know, a big thing to crown the new champion at Sumo Hall because that's probably the best way to do it. If Tam isn't around, is just going, hey, Sumo Hall is where we crown a new champion. That's enough of a selling point as is. Um, so I think they'll just take it day by day as they have been. And I don't know if it was me, I would have rushed it. I would have said, hey, somebody else's champion, Tam, you can have your match when you're back. If that
But I
means you
also
do
get
Tam
why they didn't
Suzu at
want.
Sumo Hall, then so be it, you know?
I
So
also
I
get
don't
why
know.
they didn't want to do the Mayu thing again, where it's kind of just like,
Yeah,
but
kind of.
Suzu ain't Tony. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And it might only be like V1, V2. I think that's okay. I don't mind short title reigns at all. So
I mean, they
I
did
would
that
have
to
been
Julia
fine with it.
earlier.
Yeah, Giulia,
Speaking of,
Mina, you know.
yeah.
So it can happen, and it's not the end of the world. So I don't know, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see on Tam. As you kind of alluded to there, rumors abound about Giulia. So
Sonny's back on the
yesterday,
internet. That's what I learned.
this was such big news. It brought Sonny out of hibernation because that man was gone. he went dark. He did not want to leak the big news for Gold Rush. He was like, I'm out. But this Giulia stuff brought him back. So yesterday, PW Insider, who've gained a really good track record for Joshi out of
You
nowhere.
know,
I don't know where
I
they got sourced up,
I
but
know
I
that
want
we
it.
aren't going to talk too much about it, but I do think that the domino effect was very funny of yesterday.
hmm
Because it started with Sari, right? It started with the Sari Sukeban thing where she's staying in Japan and wrestling long term for Sukeban, and that's cool. But it started with that, and everybody was like, "Oh, dope!" Like, WWE is not fucking with us. And then the Giulia thing came out, um, and then people, including me, I made a joke on Twitter. Were kind of like, "Hey, Tony, you should like try harder with women's wrestling. You ever thought about that?" And then this is what I kind of believe. Tony was like, "Well, I signed Megan Bayne. Tell everybody I signed Megan Bayne. S- tell them all." And then that led to Sonny doing a Sonny, and we'll talk about that momentarily. Let's start with the Julia thing. I just think it's funny how like the domino effect of just Joshi
What a
news
day.
yesterday was very
What a
funny.
day. But yeah, the PW Insider gained a good track record out of nowhere of Joshi scoops. I don't know how. Maybe because they got him with Skeban. I think the Sukeban people would know maybe what's going on. But they're pretty reliable now. And they reported that Giulia is so deep in negotiations with WWE that she could visit the PC next month. And
This month wasn't
I don't know, it was they're the same
it?
thing
Later this
basically.
month, whatever.
Yeah. And that set alarm bells off because obviously Giulia is a double champion. She's a big star, and for her to leave abruptly would be crazy. But then, kind of Dave Meltzer, who has been really good about this story, he kind of added on some kind of context, and it was she's maybe WWE has had interest in Giulia since 2019. I'm sure they've talked with her, but she's under contract through March. And somebody else had actually told me before that people in New Japan already expect Giulia to be on Battle of the Valley. So it was like
Yeah,
even before Dave, I had been told like, listen, she's still on that show. It's not, she's not gone right away. Um, but yeah, so Dave kind of said, hey, don't panic. She's locked in until March. That's when things might change. So
you know, not to name names or anything. I don't know anything, but Io Shirai loves contract tampering. Um, so you never know. Um, I just say that because of the Utami story, where it
yeah,
was like Utami had to be like, "No, I think that's like I don't think I could do that." When he was just like, "Oh yeah, come to the performance center. We can hang out. We can talk about some stuff." Utami's like, "I don't think I can. I don't think that's allowed."
Mm.
um, sounds like the same thing might be happening. Maybe we should keep Stardom wrestlers out of America
yeah, yeah.
because it sounds like this
I'm game.
happens every
Yeah.
time. like like it's remarkable almost.
Sumi Sakai takes him to an NXT taping, and that's it. Like Shawn Michaels is hitting him up straight away. Like,
Hey, you want me to ruin you like Saturday? Let's
hey,
let's let's
listen,
talk.
don't
Let's
you
talk
you
money.
gotta leave y'all gotta leave Shawn Michaels alone. That man is a king. Sorry.
It's the craziest thing I've ever heard you say. Um,
Oh, listen,
I know I know the context you're saying it in, but like you never expect you to say it. You know what I mean?
that's true. That's true. I mean, if you completely like leave aside his wrestling career, a god among us. You know,
See, I I
he's great.
I was a big Shawn Michaels fan growing up, but
I
that's
think
just
most people are because they're like 6, but like,
it's also true.
uh, I don't know if his stuff has aged well as an adult. So, but you know what? That doesn't matter. What matters is he got some cool women in NXT, and they actually get booked properly. So I'm rocking with the Michael Hickenbottom, and he is a king. What I will say about Giulia, this was gonna happen.
Yeah,
She's like the most obvious sign her now wrestler Stardom has had maybe ever. She's like instantly more marketable than EO She's more marketable than Kyrie, marketable than Mayu, all of it. Like she is a slam dunk. You signed this woman. So I think the reports were a surprise just because it was like, oh, she could be gone now. But it's like obviously the interest was going to be there. You know,
Hmm.
it's Giulia.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting, uh, because I don't watch WWE, so it's like I and I'm not even like the hugest sound like Trump. I'm not even the hugest Julia fan, and like if she leaves, I get it, and she probably should sooner than later. I talked about this before. I think that Stardom has a problem with like what do you do with former red belt champions? You
Well,
you,
you
you
let her
you
have it for
make
more
a
than 3 months.
you make them a new belt, like that's what, like, you know what I mean, like that's what they did with Julia. Like that doesn't, you just give them the tag run until the wheels fall off and then just go, oh okay, just, like that's just how it kind of feels with them. And with Julia it feels like she's such an obvious, like, yeah, somebody in America is going to sign her. Obviously, as I said, I would have preferred, um, if Tony Khan decided to not be an idiot and be bad and sexist and all
Keep him
that.
away.
Um,
Keep him away. Keep him away.
yeah, but I actually watch those shows. That's the issue. So I would
So
like to see Julia
I don't know, man.
still.
I don't want to see Giulia versus like half of that roster. I'm sorry. Um, as if she even
Yeah,
gets on television. You know, she might just be stuck on Rampage or something. I don't know.
but then they can send her back on
Yes,
excursion
of course.
to a little place called Stardom.
Yeah, that'd be so beast. She can learn the ropes again. Start from the bottom.
Yeah.
Just cut
Oh
again.
man, what a fucking
Um,
day yesterday was.
Hello. The thing with Julia to WWE especially is I feel like it won't work. Um, because like you look at Kyrie going there, and Kyrie pre WWE was like beating bitches and was
Hmm.
like really stiff
Hmm.
and all that sort of stuff. And Julia, it's bitches and is really stiff and does a Northern Lights bomb. She's not gonna be allowed to do any of that in
No.
WWE.
The only thing
So
that Joshis are allowed to keep are like their strikes, which is why Io is so
yeah,
different, and Kyrie can still throw a
and
back fist.
Asuka
Asuka
has
can
so far
still
been
throw a
fine.
back fist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
but Io is
what
completely
will
different because
Julia?
of that.
Yeah, like EO has been able to eventually transcend everything else, but how is Julia gonna do that? I feel like she'll end up in the same boat as Kyrie, where they're like, "Oh, we're fine, but you're not what we bought. You're not what we signed." Because Kyrie in WWE especially is like, "Yeah, you're a good wrestler, but you're not laying them out. You're punching people, you know."
It's
And
I would even compare it, and there's a difference because Shinsuke is definitely more voluntarily washed than Julia would be, but I think it's similar to Shinsuke in that it feels like I feel like she would do a faux version of what she does in every context, and like
mhm,
the commitment is what makes her good, right? Even just down to lore. Like you don't do lore in WWE unless you're the Usos, really, right? Like
yeah,
the Usos in the New Day and the Usos in the Bloodline. That's the only lore you get. Julia's not getting her lore. So like that's a big part of like what people like about Julia. I mean, it's a part of what I'm not too fond of, but like that's the selling point, is that she has like this emotional captivation because of how she as a character reacts to things and how aggressive she brings things to, like it's just a very nuanced and specific thing that she brings to the table that would just not work in WWE at all. Um
mhm,
Even more so than Sare, right? Because Sare is just a great wrestler. Sari, she's just a phenomenal wrestler. How they didn't make that work, I don't know. But Julia, if you, Jesus Christ, I just got a fucking Windows notification that bled my ears.
I
Um,
know.
Julia, if you strip her down and take away like the Japanese style that she kind of has, and you Americanize her, I don't know what she has left. And that's not me trying to shade her. I genuinely don't know.
You'd
She's
have
a
her looking
very
cool.
Japanese style wrestler. You know what I
She
mean?
is. She is. I mean, Hideki doesn't train her for no reason.
Mm.
You know, she'd have her cool looks and probably a cool hat, and she would do that one step up kick to the
She'd
face, and that
also
would
be
probably be her
the.
finisher.
She'd also be. She also could never live up to the other Hideki trainees that wrestle in WWE.
That
Like,
too.
so
That
what's the
too.
point?
She's definitely like she'd be like second or third in that EO group that they're doing. So it wouldn't even be
Yeah.
full Julia. She'd be henchwoman Julia. So yeah, I with her, it's like obviously they're gonna try hard to sign her, but it's like I don't know if your return is gonna be worth it because I don't know if she works in that style unless they make some real concessions her and her alone. Because no way she's doing a Northern Lights bomb in WWE. Like, not a chance. You know, stuff like that. So yeah, with Julia, I think it's just we'll have to wait
How
and
old is
see.
Giulia?
I don't know. It's a good question. Might be like 28.
Fuck, I forgot Julia's a common name. Hold on. I look up Julia. It's just I don't know
29.
Julia.
She's 29.
29. Um,
Yeah. She'll be 30
the
by the time she joins.
Yeah, the way I look at it is that it's like the worst thing about signing to WWE is when a wrestler wastes their prime years as a wrestler.
Yeah.
Um, like that is the problem, right? That's why like I am scared to death that Katsu's going to have some dumb idea after this All Japan run and he goes there when he's, male prime in wrestling is around 35 and I'm pretty sure he's like 35. Him going there would effectively end his career. Because even if he comes back 6 years from now, he'll be an older guy. He's not going to be doing much. Um, Not to talk about women in their primes in like a weird way, but I do think her going there now, even if she gets back out 4 years from now, if it doesn't go well, like that's a big chunk of time that she
Mhm.
could be like really becoming one of the best wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Her coming back at 35, 36, again, not to be ageist, but it just doesn't work. It's going to be more Kyrie than it is. I don't know what's a good example. It's going to be more Kyrie than it is like a Hazuki, which
Dash
is a
maybe is how old is Dash? 'Cause
that's
she has
just
aged like fine wine.
she could be like 40 or 25. Honestly, she's
Yeah.
35. She's 35. Yeah,
Okay.
sounds
Yeah. Like she won't be Dash. That's for sure. But very
exactly.
few people are. Dash Chizako. She's a beast.
Shouts out
But
that
yeah, no,
Aja
I
match, by the way.
oh dude,
um,
that was crazy. But
Absurd.
yeah, Julia to WWE. I think I'm like it's probably gonna happen. Uh, we have
But see,
time
also
to
that,
wrap things up
yeah, go on.
at least. Like you know, you probably get the Mercedes money match, assuming Mercedes ever comes back. Which I mean, I don't know at this stage. She's meant to be back in like August, but still
Yeah,
waiting.
and her fans are very upset that she's not on Wrestle Kingdom, and everybody's like, "Where is she? Like, this isn't
Yeah,
this isn't an issue
very
of like New
strange.
Japan being negligent. It's just like I don't think anybody knows what the fuck's going on with her, or
Mm.
what she's up to."
So, I mean, you might get the Mercedes match. You have time to do a Nutami match. You have time to put over Suzu or Micah and give over the leadership to DDM if
Nah, she ain't
if
doing
she
that.
is leaving. So I think we'll know based on how she's booked, kind of if she's going beforehand. But
Mhm.
I would assume since it's leaked this early that WWE is like super into her, then she's probably gone. You can say contract tampering all you want. It exists everywhere. You just don't. Your only goal is not to get caught. Basically, like it happens. All right. Damian
Yeah.
Lillard had his agent going, "I want this one team. If you get me, I'm not playing." Like that happens. This is real world. This sort of stuff will happen. So
I
chances
mean,
are they may even have her in like a verbal agreement already. I don't know, but
and I'm in a fuck Tony Khan type of mood. Past few days. Um, yeah, Tony Khan like gets very upset about the contract tampering. Will Ospreay won a singles match on the biggest show ever for not his home promotion, who he has said he is leaving.
yeah,
Like, just because he didn't ask Will Ospreay to join the company verbally, as far as we know. Like, guys,
Like you
let's not
gotta,
let's common sense here. Um, and that was actually the dispute that I like conversation I had with some people was that was like, oh well, Tony Khan doesn't want to like contract tamper, so he wouldn't talk to Julia. I was like, no, I just don't think he
would.
really cares.
Dude,
He could
he's a
definitely talk
sports
to Julia.
person. He would. Like, do you think he hasn't done it for Fulham and the Jaguars, especially the Jaguars, like the NFL,
Yeah.
very competitive league? He has in his bollocks never tampered. Like that man hits up agents as soon as he can. I'm sorry. So
And
yeah.
that's what I mean is that it's like, and this is a very uh, this is dating 101, matchmaking 101. If he wanted to, he would, but he
Mhm,
doesn't. So that's
mhm.
why everybody gives him shit for it. Because yeah, like I mentioned, it's like if Julia was going to leave, I'd like her to leave to somewhere that I watch. But same time, do I really trust AEW to do that? Not really.
No,
So
no. I mean, we're still waiting on Mariah May to like show up, and
she's
you know,
definitely helping Tony win that belt.
oh man, Tony thing.
It's timeless.
I wish it was, so it wouldn't be on the television.
As
But you
do
know
I.
what? Here we are. Anyway, they've announced the full card for Stardom Gold Rush at the Osaka Arena. That's our last bit of news to go through.
I was kind of like alley ooping that up for the Megan news, but I guess that doesn't really matter all that much.
It really doesn't, honestly. Speaking of Megan, she's in the pre-show match here. It's a time difference battle royal. It's Saya Ida, Miyu Amasaki, Lady C, Yuna Mizumori, Maika, Mina Shirakawa, Hanako, Megan Bayne, and Billiken Death. Because this is Osaka, she is Billiken Death. So yeah, fun times. We have a Moneyball tournament first round
Excuse me.
match. We have Giulia, Mai Sakurai, and Tekla versus Natsuko Tora, Momo Anabe, and Raka. And then a Moneyball tournament first round match. It's Amisore, Saki Kashima, and Konami versus Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Hanan. The two winners of that go through to face each other in the Moneyball contest, which I'm pretty sure is a ladder match.
Yeah, it will be.
All right, so
And it also might be for the title, depending on how uh Bye Bombers are feeling.
If Julia's like, hey, by the way, I am going, they'll be like, all right, get Hanan them belts, get that belt on
Hell
Hanan.
yeah.
So
I'm rocking with it.
yeah. We have Starlight Kid's return match. It is Suzuki versus Azumi versus Starlight Kid. We have in mixed martial arts UWF rules match. It is Siri versus the Scandinavian Hurricane, also known as Alice Inc. We have a high speed championship match. It's May Sarah versus Momoka Hanazono. And then the presumed main event is a Wonder of Stardom championship match. Mirai defends against Soriano. So, of all the injured people, the only one on here is Kid. So
Mm.
still no Momoko Ogo, still no Ayasakura, still no Natsupoi, still
Aya
no
Sakura,
Utami.
speaking of injury report, Aya Sakura did tweet the other day that she the injury she had was one that she could have worked with
Right.
eventually, but then she kind of talked with the trainers and was like, considering it's so early in your career, you're gonna want to recover fully from the injury before you get back, because if you don't, you're more likely to have, you know 10 more matches than have to retire, uh,
I
effectively.
see.
So she is recovering fully. That's why she's taking so long, quite frankly, is because it's like no wrestler really ever recovers fully from anything. If you could tell, she has been ordered to recover fully from her injuries. So that's why it's taking
Yeah,
for so long for her.
that's good. We're glad to see it. I was just surprised that there's like still no word of her coming back, but yeah, the injury bug is still
You
alive
got
and
you got
kicking.
you gotta keep an eye on them tweets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have to take off this hoodie because it is warm here. Do you
Yeah,
want
you're
to do
good.
the Megan thing? You seem really into it.
Oh yeah.
So
So news that I kind of already knew because she was at an AEW show that I was at, not in her hometown. So I kind of assumed she might have a deal there, and this was like 3 months ago. Megan Bayne is officially signed to AEW. Megan Bayne, as far as I'm aware, as far as it sounds, separately negotiated her deal with Stardom and got it approved by Tony Khan and by AEW. So she has been in Stardom, similar to how Tony Storm back in the day when she was NXT UK champion. Uh, NXT didn't really have much for her to do, so they were like, so she was like, "Yo, can I go wrestle in Japan for a little bit?" They were like, "Yeah, but you can't lose." And she's like, "Okay." And then she proceeded to have a run there, unfortunately. Um, so yeah, similar to that, where it's like kind of there's no relationship between the companies, but the wrestler themselves have some level of autonomy because they are low priority in terms of booking in the company. So Megan Bayne, of her own volition, went to Stardom. The reason this became a talking point was because uh, the report coming from within AEW worded it specifically that she was sent to sent to Stardom by AEW to work. And Sonny, as we said, decided to break his radio silence by noting that nobody in AEW has ever spoken to Stardom in terms of sending a wrestler over. This spawned a bunch of outrage about, oh, Sean Ross Sapp's his job, and oh, why aren't they together? Oh, what about this? Nobody seemed to really get it that it's just a separate thing. Like
People
Megan Bayne
can't
is a
read.
no, they
That's what
can't.
I've learned. Like I went
But
to
the worst
school for a
part,
long time, and they taught
go
us to
ahead,
read, and they taught us reading comprehension.
me as well.
But that does not exist
In
anymore.
fact, I went to summer school because I couldn't read in first grade. That's true. I was a very bad reader until I was no longer a bad reader, and now I'm a writer. Would you look at that? But no, the worst part is because you're right. Like it's very simple. Of like, oh, so like this wrestler just is a low priority in terms of AEW. So she was like, "Yo, can I go?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." Very simple inference there. However, AEW decided to say no. I disagree. That's not how it happened, which I don't think is how that works.
Well, I just think in their mind, them agreeing was essentially sending her to go to maybe catch their eye because she is coming back off of a very long injury layoff,
Yes.
and I think maybe they weren't happy with her work post injury because obviously
Like I said,
an injury like hers is not. Sorry, go ahead.
I watched her lose to Maki Ito, um, and Willow. But like I like yeah, she's not making hits before she left.
Like she came off a very bad injury. I imagine it kept her out for a very long time. So you're not going to be 100% after that. So if I'm AEW and she's like, "Oh, I've got a tour coming up," of course I'm going to say yeah, and we'll
Mhm.
keep an eye on you and we'll see how you're doing. So from
Yeah.
AEW's perspective, that's probably what they meant. It's yeah, we allowed her to go and we're keeping eyes on her because we want to bring her back and have her on our shows. And I think it's that simple. But I just think Sonny is just at times so combative that he had to be like, "No,
Yes.
no, there is no agreement. AEW didn't help at all." And it's like, well, dude, like, who cares? Why are you doing this publicly? Who, like, this is
He's
the,
to be fair, this same thing happened when Tony Storm came over on
I
Reddit,
guess,
not
yeah.
Twitter.
He's
So it
just
was a
so
lot
like you're
smaller.
using the company's account. What are you doing? Like Tony
Yeah.
Khan never ever shuts down this Stardom stuff for a reason. 'Cause he's a business guy. You don't talk shit about a potential partner publicly ever. That's plainest, easiest thing imaginable. So if I had a guy who was running my English stuff, and he's fighting and basically going, no, AW didn't help at all. Screw that. I'm just like, dude, shut up. Like, stop it.
To be
So,
fair, I think that there's a
oh
different
man,
vibe. No, I think there's a different view of it because I think AEW would actively be bad for Stardom if they got into an agreement. And I think Stardom would actively be good for AEW if they got into an agreement. So I think him being like, no, Tony Khan is not the savior of wrestling. We did this. It has nothing to do with him. I think he shouldn't have said it. I think it was a sunny thing to do, right? I think it was
yeah,
like
just leak something to Dave. You do that
But
every day.
yeah,
Just
that's
tell
true.
Dave the actual story. Let Dave
But
do it.
I think fundamentally him being anti AEW and Stardom having an anti AEW stance is valid. Like I think that people give it a lot more flack, which is what I was noticing and what I kind of took note of more yesterday. Was that it's like a lot of people are like, man, what if AEW, if Stardom just gets over it and just grows up, it would be so good for them. How? How would it be good for them? They don't get the Bryan Danielsons. They don't even get the Chris Jerichos. What does Stardom get from that? And I think that was kind of because, of course, this all brought up another AEW X Stardom conversation because it always does. And I was just like, what does Stardom get from that? Jamie returning for a little bit? Yeah, that'd be cool if she ever returns from injury. Mariah? Yeah, that'd be cool. But like, none of this in comparison to, oh yeah, we're just gonna sign Giulia now, cool, and ooh, Tommy looks kind of cool. Can we have her for 6 months and then she just never goes back? Is that cool? Like, it's a net negative for them. So them, and also, I don't know if you know this. I think they might still be mad about the B Priestley thing. Not
Oh, yeah.
saying, just saying.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Or also the
like
time that they asked for an AEW wrestler and got blanked. So
yeah, like Stardom has every right to dislike AEW, quite frankly.
yeah.
Um, like I don't think it's like
I get it. My only issue is you don't do it on the company accounts.
totally,
Like that's the
totally. No,
only
that's totally
like
valid.
that's just dim. Just you don't do that. That is business 101. Like you just
But
don't do that.
that is
So
Sunny 101 more than it is anything. That's
yeah,
why I was like, yeah, that's a non-factor. Who would have expected Sunny doing
I
something he shouldn't
know.
do on
I
a
know.
public account? Um,
He's so
yeah, no,
detrimental, isn't he? Like he
I wouldn't
fights
say
with
that.
journalists. He is
I,
constantly
yeah.
like snappy with everybody. It's like why would anybody want to cover this promotion when they are actively telling you to go fuck yourself, basically?
Well, I mean, that's also the case. They also said go fuck yourself with the recent issues with Bushiroad fight that have plagued Stardom, um that many people are upset about in Japan. This is a Japan news thing, so we don't have a ton to say about it. But the show the other day, um it was announced on like a 24-hour you know, I forget what the word is. Um it was announced like 24
Notice?
hours early, yeah, in a 24-hour notice that the show was going to be 2.5 hours late or something like that, or 2.5 hours early, and like that made it so that wrestlers couldn't appear on it because there were issues with travel. They wouldn't have gotten in on time. A lot of fans couldn't go, staff members couldn't go. It was all real fucked up. Giulia was complaining about it online. She was like, I asked somebody about it and they just laughed in my face. So fuck that guy. Like that, like Giulia flames to the fire because that's how Giulia works.
Mayu
Um,
posted something as well
Mayu
on
posted
her
something
Instagram.
a bit more like it really sucks this happened and I really wish people would be held accountable. But this is my company and I get it. It happens. Like it's fucked up, but we need to hold ourselves like it was very much like a let's all work together, guys. And Julia's like, I fucking am so up like it was such a different vibe. Um and I think that the time difference with the show and like the issue there with the scheduling, I think that just kind of was on top of other issues that I feel like people have had, Japanese like fans have had, be it like ticket prices and injuries, the schedule being like too hectic and kind of fucking these wrestlers up. Uh, it feels like that was more than anything the the boiling point, like the time that boiled over and
Mhm.
got like hot, the straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak. On top of that, Japanese people are just very punctual, and in Japan, it's like being punctual is insanely important. So just the day before saying, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be like 2 hours late," sorry, is not how you can do things, right? So it's like a whole thing. They have like this investigation going on, which I was like, "Holy shit, this is a whole
Oh
thing."
yeah, Kadani was
Um,
upset because
oh, Kadani
Kadani
was insanely upset.
he had to like leave something else. I think he was like meant to be an idol thing, and
Mm.
he had to like leave to go to like Belfort or wherever to sort this out. So yeah, he's been on the warpath basically, but I don't know what's happened. I don't know what the repercussions might be, but everything was fucked up, and Japanese fans were not happy. So much so that they've posted a thing like to get refunds and everything. So it was craziness. And yeah, Fukigen Death was pulled from 2 shows because they changed both shows, I think. So Fukigen was meant to be on 2 of the shows this weekend and then was pulled entirely. So just chaos all around, really.
There might be more to it that we just don't really know about because that's always possible, and it's harder to find this stuff out because it is all Japanese. You know, like they're not going to be putting out a lot of English notices about the issues within their company necessarily. Um, and it's a lot just from translators and whatnot. So there could be more to it. Like it sounded like the amount of like the intensity of the issues of like the repercussions of like we are having a full spread internal investigation. We're going to be asking the wrestlers. I'm just like, not to be conspiracy theorist about this, but if this is just like, oh, they fucked up and the show is 2 hours later, why are you doing all of that? Like, is there more to this, or is this like just sort of the straw that broke the camel's back? Is this about like everything? We probably will never know. We might if it's like big enough, but probably never know. But I just thought that was kind of the story of the weekend in Japan for Stardom, was this chaos surrounding that Sunday show that was 2 hours late.
Yeah. Not their finest week, to say the least.
No, not
With
really.
Tam down, a lot of people injured. Giulia potentially flying nest. Chaos of the shows.
They ran Amy and Lady C versus Eye Contact twice in a row.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, crazy week from them. With that though, it is time to get into the review section. There's only one show up, and it went up earlier today, so we'll just kind of fly through this. This is on November 3rd, 2023. It was Pro Wrestling Bar. Nadarashiki presents
Good job.
13th Goddess of Stardom Tag League Toyama Tournament. This is in the Bulford Toyama in front of 436 fans, which it said is super sold out. So,
Yeah, the crowd was like hype,
oh, they were
which is
hot.
cool.
Like they
Yeah,
were they were chanting at one point, and I was like,
bro.
"What the hell?"
Ruaka was the first person out on the show, and she was getting like people were going crazy for her. I was like, God damn, like big Ruaka fans out here. This is what it's all about.
Insane, insane. The opening match of the show was Micah beating the aforementioned Ruaka and Hazuki. Micah pinned Ruaka in 5.5 minutes with a jackknife roll up, I think, or
Yeah, it
just
was
a
jackknife
jackknife
pin.
pin. All
Yeah,
right.
like the roll over thing
Yeah.
that Shawn Michaels did. Big fan of his.
Shawn Michaels
Uh,
guys over here, yeah?
yeah. No, this was fun. Obviously I liked it because these are
Okay.
three Dylan wrestlers, so to speak. But no, I thought the funniest part was that Micah did win with the jackknife. It was kind of like out of nowhere. So out of nowhere to the point that the camera panned to Hazuki, who was taking a sip of water outside the ring, just fine. Like she was just like chilling, and she was taking a sip of water. She's like, "Oh, I lost. Oh fuck!" Like that was the finish. It was Micah pinning Rock and like Hazuki almost choking out her water. Like, oh shit, I was supposed to be in there. Damn, it was
See,
tough. It was a
very.
very funny like framing moment of hers looking at the fans like, did I lose? Did that just happen?
Um, what a time. The match after that was Hanan and Mayu Iwatani beating Amisori and Lady C. Hanan got the win over Lady C with 17 in seven and a
This
half
this
minutes.
venue is beautiful.
It is.
Like I'm looking at these pictures. Holy shit.
It's very good. I only watched the GP matches now from this, or
Yeah,
the tag league matches.
I,
So
I only watched the tag league. I only watched two of them
okay.
because
All
it was
right,
like
yeah,
20
yeah.
minutes ago.
We had Saki Kashima and Suri beating Sori Anu and Yuna Mizumori. Suri got the win in just under 10 minutes with a Suzaku. And then we
Damn,
got into
Yuna is
Red
going through it
Goddess.
in these
Yeah.
pictures.
We got into Red Goddess block action. It was Tekla and Giulia beating Hanako and Saya Ida. Giulia got the win over Hanako with the Bianca submission in 10.5 minutes.
I thought this
Um,
was very good.
yeah, it was well done. Everybody was doing good stuff. Saya was in for a long time, which is always good. She's pretty beast.
She's
Her
on her
trying to like
fucking
chop
game lately.
people, her trying to chop people and then just hitting her faster. So she just got more and more annoyed. Was very funny because it happened with
Man,
Tekla and Julia.
my favorite spot of this match, undeniably, was Ida and Giulia just like going at it, and then Giulia like trying to get on the octopus stretch, and Ida just pushing her off, being like, "Man, fuck you," and got the octopus stretch out. She's never done an octopus stretch before. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Ida do an octopus stretch, but she just pulled it out just to spite Giulia, which was so based.
Oh,
And I love it. Shouts out. Like, I think Ida and Hanako, and I tweeted this, I think a big part of it is because neither of them had a 5-star. So they both can go like full tilt, basically, effectively.
and Tekla
Uh,
as well.
yeah, Tekla as well. But I just think that like Min Max is kind of like one of the best tag teams in this tournament so far. Like every match of
Yeah.
theirs, except for the one against Mina and Waka, like the three since then have been like good to like very good, uh,
Mm.
which is not what you expect from Hanako, right? Like you expect her to have a good showing, and then that's pretty much it. These have been like legitimately some of the better matches of the tournament is Saida and Hanako. So shouts out to them.
Hell yeah. We had a Blue Goddess block match after that. We had Mirai and Mai Sakurai beating Miyu Amasaki and Azumi. Mai got the win over Miyu in 12 and a half minutes with an elbow drop. This is another really good match. A lot of really, really good stuff in it. Some
Yeah,
fun bits to start with Mai putting Miyu in the Paradise Lock and her just being stuck there for like a minute. And Azumi kept trying to break it up, but Mirai was running coverage. She was blocking her. So it was a funny
yeah.
bit.
I think this had the sloppiness you would expect from Miyu and Mai, kind of carrying the match. Not carrying, but doing the bulk of the work there. Like it had like the kind of like misses here and there, but I did think it was a good match regardless. Um, I feel like ever since I said my Sakurai is not that good, I still kind of stick by that. But she's been having like good matches, so like every time I'm just like, okay, I'm not saying she's bad, guys. I never said she was bad. I did at one point. I don't think she's bad anymore. She's just not great, but like every time she's having solid matches. Um, Still hate that elbow drop. I still think it looks like shit. She should not
Well,
do that no more.
I don't know. I'm into the Mai Sakurai. Miyu is a real wrestler now, certified. This was the day we had our
Miyu
moment where it
was
was like,
throwing
okay,
some
she's the
forearms,
one.
homie.
She got the chant that I was talking about earlier. Like this
See,
match
I had to
started
watch
and they
this
were
on mute
chanting for
because
Miyu.
I had to watch this on mute because we were recording because I
Oh
legit watched
yeah,
this
you,
like an
you'll
hour
have to
ago.
go back. Like she got chants to start the match, and I was like, dude, what
Oh
is
wait, no,
happening?
I do remember what you're talking about. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
okay,
she was over. Like I
yeah, it was
was
crazy.
kind of yeah.
So you had
Shouts
like
out.
you had Azumi picking her spots to do the cool shit, but honestly, I thought this was a really good match, so I had a good time.
Solid.
Um, Match after that was a Red Goddess block match. It was Kurumi Hiragi and Risa Sera beating Waka Tsukiyama and Mina Shirakawa. Kurumi got the win with a body press over Waka in 12 minutes. This was fine. Every Mina and Waka match is just Waka getting beat up for a long time, so
Hmm.
it was what it was. They tried to do like a big Risa Mina part, but it didn't really come off, I think, the way they probably wanted it to. So that didn't elevate things to the level they probably wanted to. So it was just kind of like, all right, yeah, we've seen Walker get beat up again. It's cool. So yeah, I thought they'll both have like better matches in there, but as this wasn't the one.
Yeah. I mean, like Kurumi and Risa had that crazy match with Crazy Star, and since then it's been like, okay, they'll pick back up at some point.
That
Um,
is the Risa Sera special. I
it's true.
Nothing against Risa Sera. I will never criticize a
She picks
wrestler
her
for
spot.
not. Yeah,
She
like
picks
I'll
her spot.
never, I'll never criticize anyone for not going full tilt every single day. But she definitely is like a very much a. All right, I'm gonna try here, and that's it. So
Hmm.
yeah, she's been very kind of half speed since the big show, but that's kind of how Risa's era works. So yeah, you just gotta roll with it. The main event of this show was Megan Bayne, Mei Sarah, and Suzuki beating Momo Watanabe, Fukigen Death, and Natsuko Tora. Megan got the win over Fukigen with the F5 in 11 minutes. So yeah, pictures look fun. That's
Yeah.
really it.
I mean, they won
Um,
again.
yeah,
It's really a shame that that Suzu Megan Micah match, the title challenge, was that match. Um,
six
because I feel
minutes of
like
storytelling,
six
brother.
minutes of terribly done
Miscommunication,
I'm still
storytelling.
I'm so upset that was the title match and not these 3 against them. Right, because
That's
like
fair.
that, like I get that the Micah story, but it's like the Micah story is not going anywhere at this point. I've given up on it. I know it is eventually, but like it, fucking whatever. Like I just wish I got this trio, which is very good. It's the best Megan ever looks, in my opinion, is when she's with these 2 specifically. Uh, I just wish I got that as like a title match instead of what we got. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. That's the only show that's up. So the other two will just run through the results.
Mm.
On November 4th, they had a show in the Messe Gunma Exhibition Hall. This had 429 fans in attendance. The opener was Hazuki beating Rina and Tekla. Hazuki beat Rina with a Azuki Strahl in 6.5 minutes. Giulia and Mai Sakurai beat Fukigen Death and Rocca when Giulia won with a backdrop. She pinned Rocca in just under 7 minutes. Megan Bayne and Maika won a 3-way tag match involving Siri and Saki Kashima. Megan pinned Lady C, who was teaming with Hina, with an F5 in 7 minutes. Mariah and Amisore won in 12 minutes in the return of the new eras. They beat Soriano and Yuna Mizumori. Mariah got the win with the Miramari submission. Mariah got a promo after this, and she was very
Yeah.
upset with Soriano. So
Why?
Soriano got under her skin.
Soriano was like nice.
I don't know. We'll have to watch it, I guess, and see. But she was heated, man.
I will
She was
say
very heated.
there's also backstage that they didn't note down here. Ami Sourei just did not look like she wanted to be near Mirai
Oh
at
yeah,
all.
they seem to be teasing something. I think it's because Mirai teamed with
My
Mai
Sakurai, yeah.
Sakurai instead of Ami. So Ami is
Which they,
like, hey, what the hell?
in some way, they will pay off when they
Yeah,
have that match at the end of the tournament,
yeah.
which we'll talk about
Um,
later.
yeah, if they do Mirai and Ami for the white belt, I think that might be it for the world. I think that'll be it.
That
Um,
that match will like. Actually, no, I've given up hope on that.
okay.
Because like I
Um,
feel like they've had that match like maybe 2 times, and I've always been like that could be good, and it's not. It never is.
yeah, I don't know. We had Hanako and Saida beating Momo Anabe and Natsuko Tora
You want to know
in a big
something?
upset. What?
This is the first time Ida's ever pinned Natsuko, who was her debut opponent.
Dude, that is
This
crazy.
is
Yeah,
also one of
they're
like
way
this is
back.
also one of maybe 2 legitimate wins, like tag team or otherwise, over Natsuko as the leader of
Wow.
Oedo Tai. Because like Natsuko beat her by DQ, or Saya beat her by DQ one of those years in the tournament. Um, I think she might have won like some tag matches. Legit, you can go on Cage Match. Saya Ida has beaten Natsuko 3 times, like
Wow. Okay.
in any configuration. Like even like big stars multi persons, if she's in it, she loses.
Hmm.
So this is like
Well,
a huge fucking, and obviously since Momo's joined Oedo Tai, Ida is like her favorite person to beat. Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, this is like a pretty huge, like for the Ida fans out there, this is a huge fucking win.
Okay.
With
Yeah,
the
she got that
Itabashi,
one
by
with
the
the
way.
Idabashi. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. We had a Red Goddess block match. Mei Sarah and Suzuki beat Waka Tsukiyama and Mina Shirakawa. Suzu pinned Waka in 9 minutes with the tequila shot. We had Hanan and Mayu Iwatani beating Miyu Amasaki and Azumi in the Blue Goddess block. It says both Hanan and Mayu got the pin, but I assume that is incorrect. And it was just Hanan
It
with
was
the
just Hanan,
backdrop
yeah.
driver. Yeah. And
You
that was
said
our main
that's
event. Wow.
Hanan.
Hanan got to close the show. That's pretty. I will say I like that they're giving Hanan the shine in this tag league. She's been getting the pins and now they're letting her close the show. I think that's really cool and a good experience for her to kind of get a taste for those ace duties before she's elevated.
Yeah. I think I
Yeah.
fucked up my spreadsheet.
Oh no. What
Why
happened?
isn't it? So I'm looking at it, and I have Azumi and Miyu down. Oh, it's because it's Miya. I fucking wrote her name as Mia. Oh, that's not good.
What? How did you manage that?
I don't know, but like I was so confused. I was like, they should have like 6 or 7 points, but they only had 2. It's because I misspelled her name.
Right.
Um, where did I miss? Oh, it's up. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Mayu and Hanan is that their tournament's over. Uh,
I see.
yeah. Um, Megan and Micah have to win their next two, which are both winnable, and they
Mm-hmm.
will beat them. Uh, we'll talk about it in a minute because
All right.
there's three
Let's go.
shows, so it's not like it's very easy fix. You know,
Yeah, it will be good. The next show to review, or well, not review, but you know what I mean, is on
talk
November.
about.
Yeah, this was a tag league tournament show in Ushiku Sports Park Gymnasium in front of a sellout 334 fans, but that is tier one of three tiers of sellout, so not an actual sellout,
Probably
even
would have
though
been
they
an actual
call it one.
sellout if the time was better.
Maybe. The opening match was Suriano and Yuta Mizumori beating Hazuki and Saya Ida. Anu got the win over Ida in 11 minutes with a German suplex.
We
We had a
never win for
five-way
long.
match. That is no, you really don't. We had a five-way, which was Azumi beating Hanako, Hina, Rocca, and Rina. When Azumi rolled up Hanako with the Azumi Zushi in 8.5 minutes. Megan Bayne, Mai Sakurai, and Maika beat Saki Kashima, Mirai, and Siri. Megan Bayne, of course, pinned Saki Kashima with an F5 in 9 minutes. In a Red Goddess block match, Tekla and Giulia beat Waka Skiyama and Mina Shirakawa. Tekla actually got the win in this one with a diving body press over Waka. In the
You know,
Blue
it's
Goddess
funny.
block.
This was one of the matches that I kind of predicted Mina and Waka could have won because Mina could definitely beat Tekla. But Tekla
Yeah.
was like, nah, this is my meal right here.
Oh, yeah. Um, Blue Goddess block, Ami, Sora, and Lady C beat Hanan and Mayu Iwatani. This was the revenge match from 2 shows beforehand where Hanan pinned Lady C. This time, Ami Sora pinned Hanan in 11 minutes with a like a thunderbolt. And then in the main event, we had a Red Goddess block match. Natsuko Tora and Momo Anabe beat Mei Sarah and Suzu Suzuki when Momo got the win with the Tequila Sunrise in 11.5
Can I
minutes.
say it's very
Um,
funny that Ami Sourei and Lady C were like, hey, we ain't gonna get a main event, let's talk on the mic now. Like in the semi main.
I respect it,
Because
honestly. Take
yeah,
take your
yeah.
chances. Did they say anything of note? That
Um
is the real question.
Ryuwa Tokyo Towers have ended the eye contact streak. That was the main thing.
Oh, okay.
And yeah,
Uh,
Mayu
I like how Mai
backstage was like,
Sakurai still. Oh, they had Kadani come out to the ring during this. They even have
yes,
that on the report. Damn,
yes,
that's
sounds
crazy.
about
All
right.
right. Okay, where is there? Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, we ended the eye contact streak. If there's still a chance for us to win, come see it. We're aiming for the championship. That is the most bland promo ever. Well, I guess we can do the preview. So we have a few shows happening this weekend. We have 3 Stardom shows and 1 New Japan show. The first of which is on the 10th of November. This is a tag league show in the Sendai Pit. Oh no, we're back in the pit.
Yeah, we are.
Um, there's where's the card? Why is there no card? Hello?
Oh yeah, there are no cards. We just have to look at the
What?
chart. We need to look at the chart.
There's no card. I hear. I'm not doing this.
Okay, I will
Dude, if
do it.
they couldn't be bothered to give us the cards, then that is ridiculous.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out this fucking spreadsheet that I fucked up. Doesn't matter. Um, so yeah, the 10th. We're talking about the 10th, November 10th.
Yep.
Okay, November 10th, we'll see Mafia Bella versus Shuri and Saki Kashima in Red Stars action.
Okay.
How we feeling?
I don't know. Does it matter?
Yes.
Aren't like both of them eliminated? Or Mafia Bella
Oh,
still
damn.
alive?
Wait, if they win two, they could move up to 8. But then Mesa. Yeah, everybody's still alive except for Sai and Hanako and Mina and
Okay.
Waka.
Well,
But this will eliminate one of them, one team.
okay. Well, it's probably Mafia Bella winning.
Mafia
'Cause-
Bella probably wins here, and then Shuri and Saki beat Mei Sarah and Megan May, or Mei
Yeah.
Sarah and Suzu, because I feel like Saki over Mei Sarah has been like telegraphed for the entire time. Just
Yeah,
getting
that's
that
true.
win back in Tag League. So yeah,
All right.
that's probably Giulia and Tekla. Next up on the 10th is it is XL. It is Natsuko Tora and Momo Watanabe versus Prominence on the 10th.
Hmm.
I
I'd
actually
say we're in for
before
a
this tournament started,
disqualification.
yeah, before this match started, I had it as like a no contest draw.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is just gonna it's just gonna get thrown out in some way. Uh, I feel like a disqualification might be a little bit, and I feel like it's a great place to kind of keep Risa Sera and Kurumi humble, I guess, um, without actually having to beat them. And even if they do beat them, they could do it with nefarious means. So I'm leaning towards a draw or like a Natsuko Momo. Actually, Natsuko Momo are higher than Risa Sera and Kurumi right now. Yeah, it'll probably be a draw. I feel like this makes
Well,
sense for a draw.
I mean, are we expecting Prominence to go through to the final?
I kind of just think it's going to be Prominence. Yeah,
Okay.
it's either
So
going to be Prominence or Giulia and Tekla.
should Prominence go in with an advantage in
I
points
think
wise?
I think what this needs to be, if Natsuko and Momo win this,
Should we just preview the final day and get it over with? Because
well,
there's no
we don't have the
cards.
numbers yet.
What do you mean?
Like
We can make it up as we go along, couldn't we?
we could. It's up to you.
Like there's no cards, so we're just kind of
The other
working off the
match, yeah,
board.
those are the only
So,
tournament matches because FWC's out. So
all
those are the
right.
only two tournament matches on that
Okay.
show.
See. Well, yeah. What's on the on November 12th? It's
12th is the
or no,
final.
11th. 11th. It's in Utsunomiya in the light cube thing.
The 11th
They've been here
is
before.
Min Max versus Prominence
Right.
and um Mariah and Amisore versus Meg and Micah.
You mean Mariah and Mai?
Yeah, Mariah and yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay. Well, Prominence wins, and if Mike and Megan win, are they like through, or what's the story with them? See, they don't
No,
even have the
if
tables here.
no, actually, well, I have the tables.
Okay.
If Mariah and my Sakurai win this, did they beat who did they beat? No. Okay, so if Mariah and my Sakurai win this, they are tied with Homegirls with eye contact.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that would effectively eliminate Azumi and them, and they have 3 matches left. Yeah, so this would eliminate Divine Kingdom, I believe, if they lost this.
Okay.
Because even then, even if Divine Kingdom lost this and won their next two, they would only get up to 8, and they have losing tiebreakers against both teams at 8. So I think Divine Kingdom has to win this to keep them kind of looking good.
All
But
right.
also, I don't
That's
know
fair.
because they don't have a final day match anymore.
Oh my goodness.
None of Blue Block does, I don't think. Pretty much, like
Dude,
there's one of them. It's
this
Mirai.
tournament is so
It's Mirai Mai Sakurai versus
morphed.
Lady C and Ami, and I think that is all of them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
And then on the
this is the only.
12th, which is the final,
Yeah,
in the Aori Nagaoka, which I feel like they've run before, but I can't remember for what.
they definitely have. I just don't. Nagaoka.
Oh, Sendai Girls has run here. Maybe that's why. Yeah, Stardom hasn't run here this year. 20
Yeah,
Sendai. Well,
yeah,
obviously,
this is the
like
final.
the men's promotions have run here, but
Yeah, yeah.
not Star. Well, Stardom on a pay-per-view here in February of 2022.
Hmm,
700
that was
fans.
something. Oh
So
wait, wasn't that the big one? Wasn't that a big deal?
that was Saya Natsupoi.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was Kid and Izumi. That was the yeah.
That is a weird venue to run the final of a tag league, especially one that is Frankenstein like this. So,
Yeah.
what matches are actually happening on this day?
Oh, they don't even have it up, do they?
What?
The card for the final.
No, no, they've no cards on any of the
Okay.
shows that they had.
The matches that are actually happening are Mariah and Mai Sakurai versus Lady C and Amisore.
Okay.
That's it from the blue block. Um, Shuri and like I said, Shuri and Saikashima versus Crazy Star, which I feel
Mm-hmm.
like is a Shuri Saikashima win, so that Crazy Star doesn't go through.
Right.
Um, and then it's Mafia Bella versus Prominence,
Right.
and Moonlight Venus versus XL.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Blue Block, what's the story there?
Blue Block. Okay.
Like,
You know
is
what?
it Micah and Megan win?
So
Are they through?
wait. When's the Zumi Miyu? Wait, hold on. Did I fuck that up? I'm sorry. This is a bit. Okay, I haven't been paying
It's not
attention.
your fault.
Okay.
Stardom should have the cards up, to be
So
honest.
so
That is
Azumi
ridiculous.
Azumi and Miyu have that match with Megan and Micah on the 10th. I don't know if I mentioned that.
You did not, maybe?
Yeah, so because Megan and Micah have 3 matches left. Technically, they have 2 matches left actually.
Okay.
Oh, that fucks up this entire card because they don't count the FWC wins. I hate this. Okay, I'm looking at my spreadsheet now. Fuck Stardom. Uh,
Mm.
yeah. So basically, Micah and Megan have 2 more matches. If they win both of them, they are through.
Right.
Well, actually, no, that's not technically true.
What? Who
Realistically,
could
because
catch me?
I think everybody sees it as Mirai and Mai Sakurai probably falling to Ami and Lady C, just because that's like an upset that makes total sense.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, in that case, Megan and Micah just have to win their next 2 matches and they're in.
Okay.
If Megan and Micah don't win their next 2 matches, if Mirai and Mai Sakurai also don't win their next 2 matches, then Mayu and Hanan go through
Right. So that can't happen. Mayu is
because
not in the
Mayu's not
country.
in town. Yeah.
So the most likely end goal is Divine Kingdom win on the house shows, and then Mirai and Mai drop here and send Divine Kingdom through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Because
yeah,
anything
basically,
else is pretty silly. I don't think Mirai and Mai in the final makes any sense, given Micah's current story is how she's like, Megan has completely changed my life post Himeka. So
yeah. So
kind
so
of have to have them
basically,
go to the final.
yeah. So Micah and Megan will technically go all in one because they have won so many forfeits. They
That's
have
badass.
they will have lost 1 match, and it's to Mayu and Hanan. Because that's the only way for them to get through
Okay.
to the final.
I
They
assume
could
the red
also
is easier.
they could
Red's
also
red
technically
block.
draw one of those matches, but
Yeah. Well, if they
um,
want to fill the cards, they might do a playoff there, but I think Divine Kingdom goes through either way.
oh no, they
So,
can't draw. Um,
oh.
like I mean, like if they draw, they will go to 9, and they could still win the tournament.
Oh, right. Okay. Well,
As
then,
long as
yeah, it
they
works out.
win one and draw one,
Okay.
if they don't
Okay.
lose both of their next matches, they will be fine.
Right.
If they don't draw, you get what I mean. You get what I mean.
Yeah. Red side, it's either Prominence or
Julia Tekla.
it's
Well,
Crazy Star out.
no. Actually, okay. So the way I'm seeing it, uh, is Crazy Star is effectively out because I feel
Okay.
like that upset just makes total sense
That's true.
with
That is true.
Sherry and Sakakashima.
So
Uh,
is it just Prominence versus Divine Kingdom? Is they're the
I
two
feel like that's
strongest?
yeah. I feel like that makes the most sense.
Okay. Who then
Um,
wins?
I don't
Because
fucking know.
I feel it's kind of weird because Prominence's beef is with Suzu, but Suzu isn't tag champ. So,
No.
you know,
See, the way that I saw this when Prominence first said they were going to be in Tag League was, oh, well, they're going to win the tag titles before the end of year thing, and Julia Souza are going to challenge them. And that was
mm,
like, but since everything's pushed back, there are no tag team champions because one of them's injured. Uh, we're lucky to get a tag finalist versus tag champions or a GP finalist versus champion match
yeah,
until at least early December. Um, I feel like Divine Kingdom makes more sense now. Uh, but I think
yeah.
pre-injuries, Risa and Kurumi made more sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Karumi and Risa doing a V1 or V0 is pretty silly as well. But I also don't want
You could
prominent.
definitely see it.
I don't want another prominence like, hey, we won the belts, we're going to hold them until the spring show and then drop because that would be 2 years in a row doing the same story with prominence.
They
Um,
also did that with 7 Up,
we
but they
did.
also did that with
So
the artist belts. Yeah, so
that's true.
that's fine.
So I think the best course, specifically for Micah, would be to have her and Megan win, and then you
You know,
can
it's
end Megan's run at Dream Queendom against Anno and Poi.
this would be terrible, but wouldn't it be crazy if they gave that to Divine Kingdom and then AEW just felt like being dicks?
I feel
And they're
like
just like,
Megan would be
you
like,
should come back.
"Why?" And I don't think Megan would do that.
I do think that would be like a bigger hassle for her than
Yes,
anything.
definitely.
But it would be very late 2023 Stardom for them if that should
Yes,
happen.
honestly.
Um, yeah, I think Divine Kingdom just wins. I will say that I'm pretty sure that would make it so that that Ano and Poi would have like a crazy, like would be one of the most successful tag team champions of all time
Maybe.
because they
Aren't they
already
gonna be
have
the
one
V1?
difference.
Yeah, so they'd be V2.
Yeah, and nobody gets past V3, so that's that's something.
Right. That's true, actually. I don't know. I think the most simple way is Divine Kingdom anyway.
Yeah. No, Divine Kingdom should probably just win. Again, I if they want to do something like big with the Julia Suzu stuff, that would have made sense, but I don't think you can anymore. Like I don't
No.
think you have time to do any of that. Uh Plus that would imply Julia winning having three straps at the same time. Two
Mm.
straps, presumably. So but the yeah, so but Risa, Sarah, and Kruma are definitely going through because Julia and Tekla cannot beat them. Um at best they can draw.
All right.
So yeah.
Well, that is Tag League. Sure. um,
It's crazy they didn't put the cards up. Scott told me
dude,
that this
it is
morning, and
absurd.
I'm just like, I'll figure it out. And then like I'm actually doing it. I was like, why the fuck didn't they put the cards up?
Very poor
They
form
also didn't.
from
They also
them.
didn't account for the FWC being out thing.
Of course they didn't. Of course they
So
didn't.
if I mean, but this is if Koguma's there, that's a whole different discussion.
Yes, maybe,
Because
but
but
it's
then again,
fine.
they also have Tam and Yuna as being there, and they're not.
Is
So
Koguma on the Gold Rush card? I don't remember
no, she's
saying
not.
her. Okay, yeah,
She
she's
got taken out
gone.
for Hanan, remember?
Oh,
Because
yes,
that's
yes,
Koguma's
yes.
spot in
For
the ladder
the
matches.
the ladder match. Okay. Well, we have another show this weekend to talk about, and it is Lone Star Shootout, New Japan's
Ooh.
show on November 11th in Garland, Texas. Every time I hear Garland, Texas, I just think of the Cleveland Cavaliers player, Darius
This is
Garland.
this is Dallas. I mean, it's probably Garland, but
Yeah, it says Garland, Dallas, Texas. So
yeah,
anyway,
I know
um,
someone from Garland. I don't remember who, but
okay. Anyway, the key here is that Mayu Iwatani, not the Stardom has this on their website. It just says Mayu will participate. They don't even have her match, but she will be defending the
Rossy
IWGP Women's
hates
title.
Stephanie Vaquer so much that he refuses to let them put her on the site.
His website administrator seems to hate doing work, so I don't know.
That too.
But anyway, it is Mayu Iwatani defending the IWGP Women's Championship against Stephanie Vaquer of CMLL. I was kind of intrigued how this would go because Vakir is a double champion in
Yeah,
CMLL. She just won
but that shit
one of the
don't
women's
matter.
belts, and she just won the brand new tag titles with Zeuxis.
Yeah,
So I was like, politically, CMLL might want to throw their weight around, but they
push a
say,
draw.
yeah,
I'm
maybe.
pretty sure New Japan did like one of their first like strong
But
draw,
this is a
not
60-minute
first, but
time limit,
oh
so
yeah, it's the IWGP.
um,
Fuck it, let him let him go Broadway. This should be crazy.
I mean, I'd be down for it, but I think Mayu just wins.
Yeah, no, definitely.
'Cause with Mayu, I mean, I say this a lot, but it's probably best to have her hold the belt until the movie comes out because it's very easy press to just have her with an IWGP belt, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't see her losing it. Um, it'll be a cool match though. I'm very big into Stephanie. Mayu is awesome. If they get time, I think they'll do something really, really cool. If you haven't seen much of Stephanie, I mean, CMLL is technically free. I don't think they care. Lucha Blog uploads all of their stuff on a delay, and I don't think they give a shit because they don't
Oh no,
archive it.
this is kind of a bigger arena.
Yeah.
Like AEW runs
So
it. Shit.
if you go through Lucha Blog, you can find Stephanie Vaquer matches for
Oh,
free. Her match where she won the belt with Catalina, I think it was from WWE. That's a really good match to watch if you're trying to see what like Vakir is about. So yeah, go through Lucha Blog and check out Vakir versus Catalina, or even one of her tag title matches. But I mean, you probably saw her on the New Japan show the other
yeah.
week, so you probably know what she's like. But if you don't, it's easy to find.
Yeah. She's very
Mayu is
good, as
retaining.
Alex said.
That is
Definitely.
all I can say.
I'm
Um,
just checking to see what the venue looks like, because that's my
That's
biggest
freak.
pet peeve with these strong shows is that they always look like shit. So I
Yes.
kind of just want to see like what the last time they ran them, how it looked. But I'm not finding anywhere, so fuck me, I guess.
Okay. Well, I thought we would have less to discuss this week, and I guess technically we haven't been going that long. I was
We also
late.
took 2 breaks, and you were late. Yeah.
Yeah, I was late. So the anyway, I asked people for a few questions. I was like, hey, we can take like a handful. And we got about 4 because I was very much like, please don't ask too much. So the first one is if Tam vacates, what would you do? How do you kind of fill the time to Sumo Hall? So if it's me, um, I think I do a tournament at the Nagoya show, and I say, look, the winner of this mini tournament faces Suzu, and then you have Saya challenge after that for Sumo Hall, and you can do a Micah Suzu rematch. You can then do Micah Saya if you so please. You can do Suzu Saya, but I would focus it on that November show at this stage, and I would have just be like, oh, Micah, you were a GP finalist. You did well in the GP. You're a former champion. They wrestle. Winner faces Suzu because she's the GP winner. She shouldn't have to do a tournament. So that's how I would do it. I don't know about you, Dylan, but that's me.
Um, I don't know. Like, I feel like it all depends on who is available to come back at what time. Ultimately,
That's true.
um, I feel like, and I said this, that it's not unrealistic that they run back Micah and Suzu
Hmm.
as a
I
as a
would have
championship
honestly.
match.
I would have run it on Gold Rush. I just been like, let's do it, crown a new champion. But I'm assuming that we have to follow the current booking. So
Like that's probably what I would do is, but then at the same time that means Micah loses or Suzu loses. I still think there's the same issue is that I don't think either of them should be losing a singles match to the other over something of worth right now. Like I think that's a terrible idea. I thought it was a terrible idea when they did it. I still do. Um,
yeah, but you gotta like start doing these
but yeah,
matches
at,
with
at
Micah,
that
especially like
at that point, I do think.
her story's going a bit long. Just
Oh,
start doing stuff.
this strong show looks decent. So like the camera work, I mean. So
Okay.
that's cool. Uh, sorry, I was just kind of yeah. I mean,
All right, that's fine.
I'd probably just run Suzu and Micah back
Eh,
because then I mean it depends on who they wanted to give the belt to post Tam, right?
Saya
Um,
probably. So
oh, that
I
was
would have
something that I
Saya in
did
December.
talk about briefly. I texted Scott about it. They might do a 3-way. I don't think they should,
Mm,
but I could see a
no, for the
Saya
red belt,
Suzu.
I don't think so.
I think originally it was Saya, Suzu, and Tam. If Tam had to vacate and they just kind of left it for a minute.
Yeah.
Um, or if Suzu won it, if Suzu was the de facto champion, which in a lot of instances that would be what happens in this case. Is Suzu like Tam loses by forfeit, so Suzu's the champion, but you don't really want to do that because it's kind of anticlimactic to win a championship like that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I would probably it would include Suzu and Micah preferably. Um, But if they were to actually do it, it would probably be Suzu and Saya. That's probably what they would run.
Yeah, I would think so. Um, this is when we got last time, and I think we just missed it.
Hmm.
But I thought I'd bring it up. What would happen? Well, this wasn't the question, but like, what would it be like if Stardom and TJPW were booked by the opposite booker? So in
Oh
this
no, we
case,
didn't get asked this
Koda.
last time. We got asked this like a month ago, and we just talked
Yeah.
about it in the Discord.
So in this scenario, Koda books Stardom and Rossy books TJPW. And obviously
As of
things
right
are
now,
very different. Yeah, I think with TJPW, I think you would see Yuki Arai pushed to the moon. I think
yeah,
like right away she'd be white belt champion. They would boost up that international princess belt, and she'd probably hold it for a while. Miyu
they'd
probably
probably
starts
make an
putting people
undercard belt.
over.
I think they'd make like
Probably, yeah,
he'd make like a high speed type of belt. Maybe not high
yeah.
speed, but something for the Suzumes and the Arisa
Hmm.
Endos.
I
Um,
think somebody like Suzume probably gets pushed up the card. Or
Yeah.
Arisu Endo, one or two, maybe both of them. Miyu Yamashita probably starts putting people over and kind of goes into that Mayu spot of we will call you when we need you kind of thing. So yeah, TJPW would change a lot. I think he would just get behind a lot of different people, and you would
Hikari
see a
Noa would
lot of
still be in the
movement.
dirt. I hope everybody knows that.
Yeah,
I'm
she'd be
sorry.
like tag champ for a while.
She'd still be Momo. Like they're
Yeah,
the same.
yeah.
Um,
I think on the Stardom side, Mayu would be like Mayu would benefit so much because Koda loves the ace kind of
which is
figure.
funny because like, what's the most winningest champion in TJPW history? It's definitely not as much as Saya.
No, well,
You know what I
I
mean?
think
In
Mia
a
was that
single
one
reign.
like
In a single reign.
400-day reign when she like first became the mega champ. I don't know how many defenses she had, but I know she's
Let
done
me
a
check
lot.
that out real quick.
I think the two pay-per-view thing
480.
would definitely die a death though. Coda does not book
Um,
like that.
yeah. So she defended it successfully 10 times before losing it.
Right. So yeah, you're you're getting maybe one of those from Mayu, and then
Which
a bunch
I'm
of
rocking with.
shorter hits.
I still am asking for a Mayu red belt reign that like actually has like a lot to it because I don't think
Mhm.
she's ever had it. Um, and that was kind of what we talked about when this was posed to us at first. It was like just like a text thing. Is that it's like I thought, oh well, in certain ways, I think that like Rossy could learn from the ultra conservative booking of TJPW, where it's like
Yeah.
you really let things kind of sit for a minute, and if something gets fucked up, you go back to it eventually. You kind of are like, okay, Mayu, you got injured, and then COVID happened. Let's give you something that like really to sink your teeth into. Or Giulia. Like it's very like Giulia is not anywhere near the red belt in any either of our minds. Even if she stays past March, right? She's just not.
Yeah.
Like we don't see
Mhm.
like I just don't see it. Going back to Giulia is something that TJPW would do and Stardom just won't. And I think they probably like it would make sense for them to do that. So I think in certain ways, do I think Coda would be a better booker? No, if he was booking Stardom. But I do think that there are things that Rossi can learn from Coda, to be a little bit more like, okay, I'm gonna run with this lineup for a while and let
Mhm.
them really cook. Because he does that occasionally. Like I said, the Sai Kamatani reign was that, but Sai Kamatani was pushed early before she should have been pushed, and eventually she grew into it, and then she had that reign immediately. She's only a few years in. Mayu's 10 years in, and she's never had a definitive reign with the title, so to speak. She's had great matches, obviously, but you know. So I think it's an interesting thought. I definitely think that Mayu would be kind of unbeatable, effectively, as would the Julias. I think, um, as of
Yeah.
now.
I think you'd see like the big three kind of replicated almost
Hmm.
with, Suri, Mayu, Julia maybe. To where they would be the untouchables almost. Like
I will
Suri would
say,
be
I think you mentioned it. I think Starlight Kid and Azumi would probably just fucking leave.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
those types would
like
not
it
have any
if
place
if
in
we're
the
going to the
company.
past a little bit and like Koda had been booking, like Utami still hasn't like Utami is still maybe won 2 belts instead of all of them, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, like there would be so many differences. I think Stardom would see a lot more of a top heavy focus, whereas with TJPW, you get this exciting rush of like a bunch of people moving up the card at once, kind of in a way that people have never seen before from TJPW. So yeah, I think a lot of stuff would change just because they both structurally view wrestling very differently. Um, I think both companies would be very interesting for a while based on it. But obviously, I think TJPW then would win out because Stardom, you'd be like, okay, I'm Mayu. This is like
But
20th big
okay,
match
but
in 2 years.
do you think and this kind of has you have to draw the line. Do you think that Stardom's wrestlers could overcome the TJPW booking or no?
I don't think
That
any
that's
wrestlers can overcome bad booking. I genuinely don't think it's possible. If you're running uninteresting stories and stuff, unless you are the greatest wrestler to ever touch this earth, I don't think you can do it.
enter Mayu Iwatani.
Well, okay, one person, but not all of them. Like, I
No,
mean,
yeah, no,
imagine
I feel you. I
Shuri
mean,
or
me,
imagine
like I
Julia
said,
being stuck with
like I
nothing
said,
to do.
I think Mayu having TJPW booking behind her would undoubtedly go down as like one of the greatest wrestlers, probably the greatest wrestler to ever live, because
Yeah,
she would get to win so many matches and she'd get to defend. Like I think that's huge. But I don't know. It's an interesting perspective, I would say.
yeah, that's for sure. What Stardom match do you want to see happen on a big show or pay-per-view in 2024? Any match type, any belt, any stakes. Do one that's realistic and one that's very unrealistic.
Hmm.
My unrealistic one is Azumi Tayo. That's like the big one.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it. Like, give it to me now in any form.
um. Well, mine's way more realistic, but it is. And Scott actually just texted me this exact thing. Serendipity. May Sarah versus Ida. Just like give Ida the high speed, like let her do high speed stuff. Um, that is like a realistic but not realistic, where it's like just give her a lane, and I think that'd be a really cool lane for her. And Scott just reminded me of that being an agenda I was pushing. So
Mhm.
that's that. A realistic one is probably ideally Hazuki winning the white belt and defending against Azumi and Micah. Those are the two matches that I would want. Um, if and that all hinges on Hazuki winning the white belt, which doesn't look like it's necessarily happening anytime soon. But I think an Azumi white belt challenge against preferably Hazuki, but also if she challenged Mirai, that'd be sick. Um, and also Micah versus Suzuki, I think is a match that they've kind of been holding off on that they could definitely run at a big Fukuoka show. That'd be great.
My realistic one is Giulia Utami. I think
Yeah, yeah.
with Giulia rumors swirling, do that match
So original,
anywhere.
buddy.
Yeah,
Jesus.
sorry about that, but that's my realistic one.
I could also say like a Mayu versus. I would,
Tam,
quite frankly, I mean, yes, Mayu versus Hanan would be great.
I said Tam.
I was thinking Tam.
Okay, yeah, I said Tam as well.
I thought you said Hanan, and I was like, that would be
No,
great.
no,
I would love that as a singles match, but there's nothing really for them to fight for besides
yeah.
the IWGP. But yeah, I think Mayu versus Tam is the last Tam match I want to see with
Hmm.
somebody in the company still. I mean,
Oh yeah,
obviously,
like a big
If Arisa was
stage.
coming back, oh fuck, like, but no, like of a big stage Tam match, that's the last one I want to see is against Mayu.
All right. Um, this one's a bit of a longer question, so I don't. Anyway,
We can,
here's a question for you. If you could, uh, do you could come up with an 8-team tournament for a potential NJPW intergender tag team tournament,
ooh,
which 8 teams would you choose? So it's one person from Stardom and one person from either New Japan, AEW, or TNA. So I guess I'll just do my 8 and then you can
yeah,
do
go ahead,
your
go
8. Yeah. So my first one would be Azumi and Leon Slater. I think they'd be a very good
ahead.
team together.
That would be great.
Just do the high flying things. Obviously Mayu and Tanahashi. That is very
Mm,
basic, but that is what I would go with. I would do Kenneth and Tam Nakano. I think they'd be a fun team.
valid.
Um, I would put Swerve with Natsupoi because
That's
they would just
crazy.
cook. They would cook the entire
That's
field.
crazy. I thought you were gonna
Yeah.
go with like Momo or like I don't
Nah.
know. That's crazy.
Momo is with Evil. Was or no? Yeah, yeah.
M-
Momo is with Evil.
Momo or Natsuko with Evil is killer. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. How many was that? 4, 5,
I think it's 5.
5. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Have I put Mayu? I have put Mayu. Shuri with Tom Lawler again. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's a layup. Utami with MJF.
that's
So
crazy.
yeah, because he's got the devil stuff. He's got the crown. I think he'd fit her vibe. Um,
The regalia.
I might just put Yo in here because I really like Yo, but I'll have to
That's
wait and
cool.
see. Oh wait, Mina Shirakawa. I haven't put Mina in. I gotta put Mina in.
Mina and Yujiro. You gotta do Mina and
Who's
Yujiro.
charismatic enough to be in there with Mina
Yujiro.
Shirakawa? Mina and Tetsuya. Mina and Naito.
Oh
That's
brother.
it. She deserves
Oh.
it.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So I mean, I've talked about this before. I love this idea personally. I would do like Shota and Hanan. That's a huge one.
Yep.
Um, I would do, just to like kind of go away from it a little bit. I would do Minoru Suzuki and Shuri.
Ooh,
If
yeah.
we're counting outside Stardom, like surrounding Stardom, actually
It was
Minoru
just
Suzuki,
Stardom.
yeah, but Suzuki Inaba. So that's
Oh
not
yeah,
really Stardom, but Suzuki Inaba is like number one. But that's kind of bending the rules. But yeah, Suzuki Inaba, um, Hanan Shota. I would say Eddie and Giulia. No, Eddie and Hazuki was actually what I've been thinking.
yeah.
Um, Eddie Hazuki. Azumi can go with like Azumi Kev Knight.
What?
I'm cooking. Azumi and Kevin Knight.
That is weirder than mine. I went with Leon Slater.
Yeah, but they both just do crazy shit. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Um, that's only four. Uh,
Mm.
Suzu and let me
What
think of
about
like
Suzu? Suzu and Desperado?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
Suzu
would
and
you do
Desperado
that?
would be killer. I'd probably put Suzu with like an AEW wrestler though. I feel like Suzu
Oh,
could fit with.
John Mox.
Oh yeah. Suzu
Yeah.
and Moxley. Suzu and Moxley. Um, let's go like Mayu and Tana. I mean, that's obvious. Like that's easy.
Yeah.
Um, and then Kamatani and Hiromu.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I like it.
Yeah, and then yeah, Desperado and pretty much anybody. Like Desperado is just the best wrestler. So
Desperado and Momo.
yeah,
Desperado and
I mean Despe and Kid have that already, and I get it.
mm,
But you know, I personally would love like a Desperado and Micah, which is a match they were trying to get done. Was Micah versus
yeah.
Desperado, but I think that's a cool combo of wrestlers. I don't know. These aren't like me actually thinking very much. I'm just thinking of what cool intergender combos would be as tag teams.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
love
mean,
that
I think we
question.
both had
I've
we
always
both
loved
had
that
heat
shit.
though.
Yeah,
We
I
both
think
had
Kevin Knight and Azumi
some
is
heaters.
would low key be
That
fucking
is
insane. Like
so
that's
random. Like
I
it's
mean
like
like they're my
I
two
don't understand
favorite
that.
like speedy juniors, so to speak. I guess Kevin Knight is more just like a I jump insanely
I
high
would
and you will look at me
never
because of it.
I would never have put Kevin Knight as a junior. I don't know why. In my mind, he's
He
a
is a
heavyweight.
junior. Like he's
I don't know. Like I see him and I'm like,
he
that's a
will be
heavyweight. Yeah,
he will
because
be a
I saw him.
heavyweight.
I guess it's because I saw him in CMLL doing the Rudo stuff, so I don't picture him as a flyer.
And
You know?
most people in CML are smaller. Um,
Yeah.
like
So I think that's
like
why.
Mystico will never be in a junior tournament because he's not considered a junior, but he is a junior. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Mystico is a heavyweight effectively, but he's not at
Yeah.
all.
Well, Mystico's just a god, so he's
Exactly.
allowed.
Exactly.
But
Um,
yeah, that was fun. Pity
oh,
we
and
ran out of
Naito
time. But,
Utami. Naito and Utami because
oh
Utami is
yeah.
such a nerd about Naito. I think it would be great for
Remember when
her.
Stardom and Bushiroad tried to make Giulia and Naito comps happen? And we just didn't go with it at
Oh
all.
no,
But anyway,
that's not what we do.
it's time to close the show. We'll be back
Mm,
next week at some point because I won't be here
yeah,
next Wednesday. Just like you
I
weren't here this
understand.
Wednesday, which is why we're early. But anyway, it's time to close the show. If you want to stand,
Mm.
you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in. Ijo.
Ijo.